Are your clients churning? Do you feel like you somehow always end up chasing them or like they don't really even want to buy from you in the first place? Well, today, with this one thing, I will show you how you can have clients flowing in like a gold rush where they are chasing you and they never even want to leave you. So right now, if you're in this situation, your clients are probably either very seasonal or you just can't rely on them. So first, you'll need to understand how to get good leads. So basically, you'll need to choose a platform for advertising. So you could do this traditionally, but I would recommend you do this online through a platform like Facebook or Instagram, and there are several others you can use. But once you've chosen a platform, now we'll need to create advertisements to send out to that platform. This is what we call creatives, and a creative basically consists of media and copy. So media includes things like the visuals, and copy is like the text and the headlines of the advertisements. This is like the offer, the headlines, and the text that we actually use to compel or attract our clients. So it won't just be about having something that looks good and something that reads nicely, but it's mainly going to be about having a good overall strategy for your creatives. So you need to think a lot about the actual offer that you use to attract your clients, because it needs to resonate with your clients personally, and also it needs to fit in the market. So for that, it's not something I can explain in a few minutes. I would recommend that you read a book for that. I would recommend that you read Eugene Schwartz. Breakthrough Advertising is a great book to learn that. Now, once we have good creatives, you'll have good leads coming in. And now the next step will be to understand how we can convert those leads into actual appointments. So how do we do that? Well, basically, we need to contact those leads. And there are several ways we can contact them. You could send them a message, you could send them an email, and nowadays there are even several chatbots you can use that will do it for you. But what I personally recommend is that you call them up in person, because this will give you the highest chance of converting them. So try to do that within the first 5 minutes, because this is usually where they will respond the most. And once we have that, we can basically have an in-person meeting with our clients. So this can be either digitally on Zoom or in real life. So once we have that, we're one step closer to understanding the one thing that will have clients chasing you. So once you're getting good leads and you're getting good appointments, it's time to learn how to convert those appointments into actual clients. So for that, it will be important that you are confident and assertive whenever the prospect is sitting in front of you. You'll need to be confident not just in your service, but also in yourself, because you need to understand that the prospect is going there because they have some kind of an issue or problem in their life, some kind of area that you would like to see improvement in. And they're coming to you because they are hoping that you will solve that problem for them. So it will be understand that you know how to lead that conversation. So that doesn't mean that you need to be dominant, but it means that you need to take control in a good way, because if you are not confident in yourself and in your service, then your clients will also start having doubts, like maybe they didn't really make the right decision coming to you because you don't seem that confident in your service, like maybe this was not a good decision after all. So it will be important that you understand how to do that. The other point I need to stress is that it's important to have a good structure to your conversation, to your meeting, because you can't just going and asking like random questions, going from here all the way there in a way that's chaotic. You need to structure your meeting in a way that makes sense for you, the prospect, and the service that you're offering. Because if you're going to be asking questions that are all over the place, the prospect is going to start asking, well, this doesn't really make sense, and it's going to start getting a little bit annoyed. So you don't need to have a script if you don't want to use a script, but I do recommend having a strategy. Think about the way you are actually doing these meetings, because you need it to make sense and you need it to bring value for the customer. So now we've set up our plan for marketing and sales so that it's functional and it's actually getting you some new clients. But we still haven't learned this one thing, how we can actually get amazing loyal customers that don't just stay around, but tell everyone they know about your service. So before we can get to that, we'll also need to understand how we can actually retain those clients first. So for that, it will be really important that you ask feedback to your clients. So this means that whenever you're doing service with them and you see that they're a little bit disappointed or they're a little bit less engaged than usual, go to them and talk to them, see if how they're doing, and ask them if they're still happy with the service or if there's anything you could improve. And I would even do this proactively, even when you don't see signs that your client is, less engaged. Go to them proactively, like let's say every month, or depending on the service that you use, you go to them and you see how they're feeling and if there's anything you can really improve on with your service. That will have a good impression on your clients because that means that you care about his experience. The other part to getting retention will be just having a really great product or service that actually gets them results. It's not all about sales and marketing. It's a lot about having a good product and service as well. So obviously invest either time or money into improving that always, so that you can have the best results possible for your clients, and that your clients don't have the feeling that they're just getting sold and then there's nothing at the back to really help them grow with what they wanted. So make sure that you have a great service, because that's one of that's like next to communication, that's going to be the main thing that you can do to really have happy clients that you can retain. So with this newfound power, you'll probably start feeling more confident in yourself and the direction you're taking your business. Your business will be functional and it's on the right path to success. Your clients seem to be happy with the service, you're more stable than before, and you're actually making some profit. So what is that one thing to really take things to the next level? Well, unfortunately, you might have learned all the theory and it seems like you're on the right track, but things can get pretty deceptive. You might not yet be reaching the level you really need, and you might be struggling to handle all those processes together. So you might get to a point where, it just feels like too much to handle, and where despite learning all these things, it still seems hopeless. But of course, you're not going to let this fly. So you learned that for marketing, it's important to have a good system for leads, so your creatives, media, and copy. You also learned that it's important to have a good system to convert those leads into meetings, so appointment setting. It will also be important to understand your offer needs to be good, so it can't just be something generic. It needs to be something that's either different or makes a lot of sense for your clients, and usually something also that's tailored to their persona so that it speaks to them personally. For sales, you learned that it's important to be assertive and to be confident in yourself and your service. You also learned that it's important to have a good structure to your conversation so that you're not just going all over the place randomly and chaotically, but the conversation with your client actually makes sense and the client sees that you're an expert. Next thing to understand is that it will be important to give your client enough trust so that you can explore certain pain points with your client or your prospect. It will be important that you can surface the pain points your clients are dealing with so that your client once again realizes the problem is lingering around, and he can also see that you're professional enough and you understand the problem enough so that you know what he's dealing with, and that you can take him to some place where he would actually no longer have this problem. You also learned for retention that it's important to ask feedback so that your clients can stay engaged. And you learned that it's super important to have a good product and service so that your client can actually see good results. Next to that, it will also be important to realize you need to have a good relationship with your clients, because if you don't have a good relationship, your clients is the communication back and forth is going to, not work out well, and your client might feel like you don't care about him. So it's important to have that right as well. And once you have all these things, once you have marketing, sales, and retention handled well, now you will see your clients will start getting really happy and you'll start getting word of mouth. You see, this is the one thing where everything really comes together, because if you just look at everything through the lens of service, then you'll understand that this is really all you need to have a great business. If you look at marketing through the lens of service, you'll understand that it's not just a trick to get them to someplace. Same thing with sales. It's not just a trick to sell them something at the end of it. It's actually you understanding the motivations of the prospect, the problems of the prospect, you understanding how you can communicate with them in the best way so that you can provide the best value to them. Same thing with your product. So if you just look at everything through the lens of how can I help my client in the best way, that's really all you need. And if you do that super well, you'll have a lot of word of mouth, and you'll have clients that aren't just loyal to you and never leave you, but they're also going to tell everyone they know about your service. And that's how you really, really grow as a business. So now you know how everything works. You understand the marketing to have a good leads, to have good creatives, to have a good appointment setting system, and to have a great offer. You understand the sales parts, to be assertive, to be confident in yourself. You understand that it's important to have a good structure to your conversation and to allow the prospects to trust you. You also understand the part of retention, so to have a good feedback with your clients, to engage them, to have a good relationship with them, and to provide a kick-ass product or service. Once you practice all of these things together, eventually it will become second nature to you. And from that point onwards, you'll start having a lot more clients that become more loyal to you, and also will start telling everyone they know about your service. So from that point, you'll probably never look at business the same way again, and you'll start thinking like a real entrepreneur. If you enjoyed this video or you learned something, be sure to check out my next video on scientific advertising, where I go more in depth on how to create good creatives.